With only days left until our 3-week-long trip to the Philippines was over, we had one more destination left. For the last couple weeks, we explored remote island paradises and jungle villages. But it was time to visit the heart of the country, Manila. But before then, we had to make a quick stop at Cebu City, which we had some time to rest.
We're now in Cebu City. It is a very different vibe here.
And little did we know that this would prepare us for what was to come afterwards. Unfortunately, Rose couldn't join us because her time off from work was up, and so she had to make it back to the States. And shortly after, my buddy Nico and I were off to Manila. Manila, which is the capital of the Philippines, is an incredibly massive city featuring all walks of life. I mean, every single street had something completely new to see, which is pretty remarkable given the city's size. Everywhere, any time of day, even 3 in the morning, there was commotion outside. And so we arrived at probably one of the most expensive places in the Philippines, which is BGC. Bonifacio Global City, or BGC, is a section of Manila that is considered to be the ritziest, but also the most vibrant. It was a place full of life. Here you will find modern innovation at its finest. Families out and about, couples out on dates, and one huge screen, and whatever this is. The area is filled with immense skyscrapers, 10 times bigger than any building I've seen in the USA. It's almost like there were mega buildings. Everywhere we went, there were people swarming the streets, and there were just so many things to see and do. This is one of the few places I've ever been to where you could literally walk outside at 11 p.m. and there's families walking around with their kids, where you will still experience that Filipino hospitality, but you also mix that with a laid-back, lavish lifestyle.
Middle of the night,
1 o'clock in the morning,
is filled with just people.
For our second day in Manila, we visited the infamous Okada and the Mall of Asia. The Okada is a resort that is worth over 2.3 billion US dollars, where the city also plans to expand this land even further into the ocean. So most of the buildings around the hotel were still under construction. And the Mall of Asia, well, let's just say there's a reason why they call it the Mall of Asia. And so to finish the day, we headed back to BGC. We went to this rooftop bar and I looked out from the window and I saw very clearly what was BGC and what wasn't. And I just found it so crazy how a city can change within just 1 block. That's when I started to see that life in the cities is incredibly difficult. The daily commute with the traffic, the heat, the increased cost of living. After all, it is significantly more difficult to earn $1 US here than it is back in the States. But I also saw something else. That amongst the daily chaos, the lights and the luxury, there was hope. there was still a great passion for their homeland. And that passion is what made my second trip to the Philippines absolutely unforgettable. And after exploring a little bit more, I finally said goodbye to Nico, who was off back to the States because, well, he had work also. And so I was left by myself for my last day. So I spent the day in BGC getting some work done, and bright and early the next morning, I said my last goodbye to the Philippines.